Hello, I'm here, top of Church Street, Primark, Bolton Street end, on this very busy, noisy Wednesday afternoon. The busker behind me is normally outside next. They've moved him up here, but so what, who cares? Enjoy, right? Further to yesterday's video, we can't be beholden to our adversaries. That's suicidal, ladies and gentlemen. No community can survive being beholden to their adversaries. It just doesn't work like that, right? And that is what is happening now across our glorious city. More and more we are becoming beholden to new arrivals. We buy our food from them, our petrol, they cut our hair, vapes, mobile shops, hardware shops as well, selling buckets, mops, brushes, things like that. There's a big one in Broadway where I live, about three shops knocked into one. I think there's another big one on County Road. Am I right there? Let me know. So you've got to remember, we can't be beholden to our adversaries. That is not in our best interest, ladies and gentlemen, right? You see, new arrivals are coming into our city in such large numbers. They're sticking together and good on them. And because of this unity, they're able to out-business the local hosts. That's what they've been doing the last years, right? Because they stick together and good on them. I'm all for it. But that's what we need, is a united Scouse front. We haven't got it. That's why at the moment, new arrivals are outwitting us and monopolising businesses they never used to. You see, if you have to go to your adversaries for food, get your hair cut, get your petrol, buy your mop and bucket and various other things, and I'm sure it'll increase as more and more new arrivals come into our city, that can't be in your best interest. It can't be in the community's best interest. It can't be in our city's best interest. It just can't. And that's why we need to oppose further cultural change. Because the more and more new arrivals sink their roots deeper and deeper, the more we will be beholden to them. That stands to reason, ladies and gentlemen. That's obvious. And to be beholden to your adversaries is suicidal. It's disastrous, right? You just can't be beholden to your adversaries. You just can't. That's not how life works. No community will survive being beholden to their adversaries. I know, repeat myself, but I have to, ladies and gentlemen. This is serious, because where are we going to be in 5 or 10 years' time? That's what I'm saying. This is what you have to remember. It's where are we going to be in 5 to 10 years' time? We're going to be more and more dependent on new arrivals, our city, our schools, our communities, our school, yeah, I've said schools, our cherished city centre are going to reflect more and more the culture, new arrivals. New arrivals have brought with them. We're going to reflect their culture more and more. And the more we reflect their culture, then the more we're going to be beholden to them, right? And that long term, ladies and gentlemen, cannot be in any community's interest. Bear with me, it's getting rather busy. So as I say, the more new arrivals sink their roots deeper and deeper, the more long-standing proud Scouse communities, our cherished city centre, Scouse skills begin to change, then the more our city will reflect the culture they've brought with them. And with that they will then start monopolising more and more of our Scouse economy. That stands to reason. That's obvious, right? You have to be very naive if you don't understand what I'm trying to say here, or what I am saying. You'd have to be naive, because that's what will happen. They're our adversaries, they're not our working class brothers, like Ian Bain would like to believe. See, the Iraqi, the Irani, the Afghani, the Pakistani, the Bangladeshi, they are not uniting with their Scouse hosts in this working class unity to defeat capitalism. Right? It's a fantasy world, that, right? They're uniting, right, for themselves and the culture they brought with them, right? Our culture to them is a hostile culture. Of course it is, right? It's a hostile culture. And they will unite to make sure that everything reflects their culture and everything that comes with it. And that means dominating our economy, dominating Scouse schools, dominating our Cherry City Centre, dominating long-standing proud Scouse communities, and so on and so on. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen, in the real world. Not the fantasy world Ian Bain's in, Dan Carton, Paula Barker, or many others, right? That's a fantasy world they're in. Or it's probably not, it's a world of denial. They know. Ian Bain, right? Do you really believe the Afghani, the Irani, the Iraqi, Pakistani, Bangladeshi are all going to unite in working class solidarity with their Scouse hosts? Do you really believe that? Just be round the bend, lads. You're 100 years out. Right? That's never happened. Not that it was ever going to happen. All that will happen is our city becomes more and more culturally changed and it balkanizes. That's what happens. Because that's what's happening now across the city, right? They're not all united amongst themselves, let alone with their hosts. Look what's happened to London. Is there Cockney unity there? Of course there isn't. So that's what I'm trying to say to you, ladies and gentlemen. The more and more new arrivals sink their roots deeper and deeper here in our glorious city, the more our city reflects the culture they've brought with them. The more our city reflects the culture they've brought with them, the more and more they will dominate our economy. That stands to reason, right? That is the real world. We can't allow this to happen. Like I said, they're cutting our hair, we're buying our food from them, our petrol. Now we're getting all our household needs, hardware stores, buckets, brushes, mops, whatever. As I say, petrol. Now, where else is this going to extend to? Well, it'll extend right across the board. Of course it will. That's the real world. That's how things work. And to have our adversaries dominating over us will be suicidal, right? Anyone that believes otherwise doesn't understand the realities of life, common sense, right? I'm going to go now, ladies and gentlemen. It's really, really getting busy. But remember, say no to cultural change. Yes to Scouse pride. Shout it out loud, Scouse and proud. Okay, thank you. Hello, I'm still here. Top of Church Street, Boat Street, Primark End. It's very busy, noisy. Wednesday afternoon. Great performance from Cyrus, that's his name in front of me. All the same, cultural change, ladies and gentlemen, is here. It's all around us. We can't ignore it. We can't deny it. It is here. We have to deal with it, I'm afraid. Politicians, bogus, super Scousers, journalists, they are going to have to deal with it sooner or later, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to have to be dealt with, because if it's not, there is major problems that lie ahead. Not problems Joe Owens is making up or creating. The problems due to too many new arrivals coming into our city. Different ways, beliefs, values, standards, incompatible with our Scouse ways. That is going to cause problems later on, right? And when I say later on, I'm talking 5 or 10 years time. I'm not talking 30, 40, 50 years time, right? I am talking very, very soon. And 5 or 10 years time, in the big scheme of things, is nothing. New arrivals now, like I've said, new arrivals have unity. That's how they've outflanked their Scouse business hosts. That's how they've outflanked us, ladies and gentlemen, because they've got unity, right? They have unity. We don't. We need a united Scouse front to defeat cultural change, to stop it, and vote out these reckless politicians who are turning a blind eye as to what is happening to our city, our cherished city centre, Scouse schools, our economy being more and more dominated by new arrivals. Because like I've said, what society flourishes, or should I say, what community flourishes that's beholden to its adversaries? None. Right? Well, if there are any, then send me the link, right, where new arrivals are in the driving seat, the original hosts are beholden to them, yet the original hosts are flourishing. Send me the link, because I want to see it. That doesn't happen in the real world. It's impossible. It can't happen, right? All that can happen is what is happening. More and more new arrivals then start dominating. More and more Scouse community schools, Cheddar City Centre, the local economy, and so on and so on. Bear with it, it's getting busy and windy now. It's quite noisy as well. So that's why we must oppose this, ladies and gentlemen. Right? You must see the seriousness of this. Because like I've said, long term, 5 or 10 years time, where is our city going to be? What are our Scout schools going to look like? Our Cheddar City Centre, our children and grandchildren will be coming into. What's that going to look like? Well, we know what it's going to reflect. The culture new arrivals are bringing here into our city. They have no intentions whatsoever of integrating, assimilating. In fact, they're unassimilable, right? Everyone knows what I'm saying is the truth. They can't, because they're unassimilable, and plus they don't want to, right? We must oppose further cultural change, ladies and gentlemen, because if we don't, like I say, long term, this will be disastrous for our city. You cannot be beholden to your adversaries. That is disastrous. If indeed it's not, show me the community that's beholden to its adversaries. Well, there you go. I'm going to go now, ladies and gentlemen. It's really getting busy. But remember, say no to cultural change. Yes to Scouse pride. Shout it out loud. Scouse and proud. Okay, thank you.